Hangtime is a new for 2018 coaster that is thrilling from start to finish, but there are mixed reviews about this ride. So what are my thoughts on this ride? Stay tuned to find out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Alright guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here and roller coasters are what you're into, then please consider subscribing for content all about roller coasters. Please note that unfortunately when I went to Knott, my camera couldn't work, but it worked again the next day. So instead of cinematic footage, I will be using quality footage by Coaster Hipster. Go subscribe to him, I'll put a link in the description. We knew there would be a new coaster coming as Knott's Berry Farm announced that they will be removing their Vekoma Boomerang. I think that was a great decision of them as they didn't really have much space left in the park. The only bad thing is that I wasn't able to ride it when I went in 2017. Many speculations arose and we saw signs. Cedar Fair trademarked the name Hangtime and most of us linked the word Hangtime to gerstlauer infinity coasters. But then on August 16th, 2017 on National Roller Coaster Day, Knott released concept art and gave us an announcement on the ride. It will be called Hangtime and it will be the West Coast's first dive coaster. When I first heard the words dive coaster, I first thought B&M, but it's a gerstlauer dive coaster, and that's what surprised me the most about the announcement. Later on, they did release the CGI animation, and I thought the ride will be well paced and it will be intense. The ride opened on May 18th, 2018, and some people got off amazed and some people got off underwhelmed. Many people say it was running in the middle. It is apparently too fast to give hang time but too slow to be intense. Many enthusiasts would be disappointed by that, but the reviews I heard were very mixed. So this ride is a gerstlauer infinity dive coaster with a max height of 150 feet, a top speed of 57 miles per hour, 2,198 feet of track, 96-degree drop, and 5 inversions. So I rode this ride a total of 2 times, once in the front and once in the back. My time at Knott's was only 5.5 hours, so I decided to get fast lane, and let me just say this right now. I am proud to say that this ride has exceeded my expectations. It does have some good forces and some good hang time. The one ejector moment is insane and the drop is so good. This ride does have quite a bit of a rattle, but I don't think that took away from the ride experience too much. But I think this is probably the most thrilling ride at Knott's Berry Farm, but I don't think I got the full experience of hang time. When you enter Hangtime, you pass through surfboards and you go under the second best part of the ride. I wish that it was themed to a certain other place, but California beaches are still good. And since I used Fastlane, I couldn't experience the whole queue. But looking at it, it looks really nice, and the coolest part is that you're under most of the coaster, so it's a great place for footage. The station is simple but very nice. There is assigned seating, but the person assigning them asked if I had a seating preference, and I said front row. I personally prefer the back row because the drop and airtime hill are better in the back, but you do get good views in the front. There are bins in the station for you to put your stuff as they don't want any loose articles on the ride. And yes, even if you have cargo pants. The lap bars are pretty good. They remind me of B&M clamshells except they're not as aesthetically pleasing. They can staple you, but I didn't have too big of a problem with the restraints and seatbelts. Now I'll be discussing the ride layout. This is not my POV, full credit goes to Knott's Berry Farm. You can check this out on their YouTube channel, I'll put a link in the description. Also, the official POV does transition from day to night and night to day, but I'll ignore those transitions as I talk about the layout. So first you wait a little bit and then go up the vertical lift hill. You actually float a little bit out of your seat as you go up it. It's so weird but awesome. After you get to the top, you enter the holding brake, which was very exhilarating. Is it even 3 seconds? It felt longer. You're basically pushed forward by gravity and it's cool. I always don't know when the ride starts dropping, so I like this part because it builds up anticipation. But the next and best part of the ride is coming up, the drop. This drop is so insane. I don't know what makes it so good. Is it that it gives ejector airtime or just the fact that it's beyond vertical? But out of the very small amount of coasters I've ridden, this is my favorite drop and I think it's the best part of the ride. Then you pull up out of the drop and go into a non-inverting element. This element has sustained floater airtime, but overall I think it's the second weakest part of the ride. Then you dive down and go into the negative G stall loop. I love how much hang time that element has and it's very smooth. And yes, you do get hang time on hang time. Who would have thought? I think that is the best inversion on the ride and my favorite inversion I've experienced so far. Then you go into a corkscrew and this is a pretty wacky element. It does give a little bit of hang time but not too much. And also there's a jolt right after the corkscrew. I did feel the jolt, but I don't think it's as bad as people say. Then after that you go into an overbank turn which the park calls a cutback. Many people say that the overbank turn / cutback is a forceful element, but I didn't find much force on it. I personally think that's the weakest part of the ride. Then right after that, you go into an ejector airtime moment. This goes right over the entrance. It probably has the strongest moment of ejector airtime I have experienced on a coaster. It is a short pop, but if I'm using this term correctly, you get yonked out of your seat. Then you go into a cobra roll, which pays homage to Boomerang. This one is better than Silver Bullets, but I still find it to be an okay part of the ride. It's not because it's jerky, but it's because it's not very fast or forceful. Then you jump into the brakes. Then jump into the brakes does give some airtime, but it's better in the front row as the brakes don't affect you. This ride has a decent collection of inversions. Unfortunately, I thought only one of those inversions gave quality hang time. They are still good inversions nevertheless, but the negative G-stall loop definitely impressed me. Hang time has only 4 main moments of airtime. I know that hang time isn't focused on airtime, but I would like to see a few more moments of airtime. It also isn't the longest coaster, but it packs a punch for what it is and the space provided. What this ride mainly suffers from is a very noticeable rattle. I didn't think this took away from the ride experience too much since it has lap bars, but it did affect it though. It's about as rattly, if not even more, than Accelerator, a coaster that goes 82 miles per hour and opened 16 years before hang time. So that's a problem if you ask me. The only people I've heard so far that say hang time is smooth are people who've ridden 600 coasters. So hopefully Gerstlauer can fix the rattle on their rides, and that one jolt that hang time has, I hope future Gerstlauer coasters don't have. But the day hang time gets retracked will be the day I go to Cedar Point. This ride has a good amount of standout elements like the drop, negative G-stall loop, and ejector speed hill, but then has a collection of okay elements. The forces on this ride is really good. It's not too intense, but it's also not too forceless. The airtime and hang time are also very well executed on this ride. This ride also has my favorite ride employees out of any ride I've ridden so far. The seat assigner for the first time assigned me to the back row, and on the second time let me sit in the front row. The ride ops were never mean and they made everything clear. When I got off, the merchant Fun Picks workers were very nice and friendly, so props to the hang time crew, they're doing a great job. Unfortunately, I never had the chance to do a night ride on hang time, but the next time I go to Knott's, I'll definitely try it. But looking at it off-ride, KCL, which was the company that did the lights, did a great job on the lighting, but I have never seen a hang time light show yet. Looking at it from a Coaster Studios video, the light shows are very impressive, so I feel like I didn't get the fullest experience on hang time. I'm actually still deciding on which coaster is the best at Knott's Berry Farm. Accelerator, Ghost Rider, and Hang Time have just about the same smoothness, so I consider it based off of the layout. Compared to the other coasters at Knott's, Hang Time has more elements that impressed me and exceeded my expectations. I guess Hang Time just has a more modern layout than the other coasters at Knott's. You're comparing Hang Time, which opened in 2018, to coasters that opened in 2004, 2002, and 1998. But just all around, this coaster impressed me. I had 2 really great experiences on Hang Time, and if you go to Knott's, I definitely recommend hitting this up. It's a very fun and thrilling ride, and I'm excited for more of these from Gerstlauer. This might be Gerstlauer's chance to have a big market in the US, and who knows, we could see a Knott type ride. All that Gerstlauer needs to do is to fix their track and train so that they could build some of the best coasters in the world. So that's my review of Hang Time at Knott's Berry Farm. Be sure to let me know down in the comments what are your thoughts on this ride, whether you've ridden it or not. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, I really appreciate it. And if you're new here and roller coasters are what you're into, then please consider subscribing for content all about roller coasters. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.